Did you know that 50% of women notice hair loss and thinning by age 50? Are you one of them? If your hair is falling out for no reason and your expensive shampoos or strategic haircuts aren't working, keep watching. I'm going to share the top 3 root causes of hair thinning and how to fix the problem using functional medicine. One of the reasons hair loss and thinning is so frustrating is that it's often considered a vanity issue and therefore not taken seriously. But hair loss, especially in women, has significant cultural and social ramifications, not to mention the very real anxiety and depression it can cause. And more importantly, it always points to deeper health concerns like chronic stress, nutrient deficiency, and hormone imbalances. More on that in a minute. In the decade plus that I've been a functional medicine doctor, I've discovered that women with hair loss aren't being given much support or guidance from their doctors. They're told, well, it could be this or it could be that, but we don't really know. And then they're dismissed. At most, they're given an expensive medication to try with no guarantees that it will fix their hair loss. This leaves them without options, alternatives, or a path to figuring out the root cause of their hair loss. That's why in this video, I'm going to explain the top 3 root causes of hair loss in females that I've seen in practice. And I'll also share some actionable, science-based solutions for each. Let's dive in. The first root cause of hair thinning that I see in my practice is suboptimal ferritin. Notice that I didn't say low ferritin, right? Because even ferritin levels that are within a conventional normal range might not be high enough to combat hair loss. And they certainly aren't high enough to help you regrow healthy hair. If your goal is to look and feel the best that you can, why would you settle for normal when optimal is on the table? That's why functional medicine providers aren't content with normal when it comes to your nutrient status. I want you to be in an optimal range so that you can function the best you possibly can. Now, what is ferritin exactly? That's a good question, because unfortunately, many people have never seen their ferritin levels on blood work. Ferritin is a protein that stores iron in your cells, safely transports it in the blood, and releases it when your body needs more iron to do important things, like make your red blood cells and bind active thyroid hormone to receptors. We need ferritin because while iron is a super helpful micronutrient for your body, free iron is actually toxic to your cells, so it needs to be bound up or buffered when it's stored. That's ferritin's job, to keep a reserve of iron that's ready to go when your body needs it without exposing your cells to harmful free iron. When you have adequate iron in your blood, but not enough ferritin, we call it latent iron depletion, or sometimes iron deficiency without anemia. So when we measure your levels of ferritin in the blood plasma, we get a sense for how much of a backup stash of iron your body has at its disposal, as opposed to only measuring iron in your blood directly, which is more common than measuring ferritin. Even if your iron blood test comes back within the normal range, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have enough reserve iron stored in ferritin to maintain all of the functions of your body that require it. Given that ferritin is the most sensitive biomarker for assessing iron stores, it's frustrating that most doctors don't bother to check it, even when their patients have common symptoms of low ferritin. Why is having optimal ferritin levels important? Well, it's what makes your red blood cells able to carry oxygen to the rest of your body, fueling your function on the most basic level. When iron reserves are low, it can result in fatigue, dizziness, shortness of breath, weakness, and a bunch of other symptoms that overlap with other root causes, including hair loss and thinning. So how can you fix this root cause of hair loss? The first step is to do a blood test to determine your ferritin levels. For reference, research has found that anything less than 50 micrograms per liter is insufficient to regrow hair. I typically aim for 70 to 150 micrograms per liter with my female clients, and 70 to 300 for males. Once you know if low ferritin is contributing to your hair loss, there are lots of strategies you can use to improve it. If you eat meat, You could incorporate more grass-fed, iron-rich beef, bison, goat, or lamb into your diet. Nuts and seeds have some iron in them, as do green leafy veggies like spinach and kale. Taking vitamin C at the same time that you're consuming iron-rich food or iron supplements can improve absorption, and every little bit counts. I've found that the quickest route to improved ferritin, and therefore improved hair growth, is supplemental iron. But quality really matters with this one, because iron can be very hard on digestion. My recommended ferritin-building supplement has a few distinct qualities. It contains a chelated form of iron, which makes it easier to absorb and less likely to cause digestive upset. It also contains several cofactors, specifically other micronutrients that are required for proper utilization of iron by the body, like methylated B vitamins. I've included a link to this specific product in the free functional hair growth checklist. And if you order through my Fullscript dispensary, you'll get a really generous discount. Check out the video description for links to this checklist and other resources. There are other reasons why you might not be absorbing or utilizing iron effectively, including gut microbiome problems, heavy menstruation, or even certain medications you might be taking. If you know your ferritin is low despite intake of iron, it may be worth a deeper investigation into underlying causes. I have several more videos in my library all about ferritin, and I'll queue one up for you to watch once this video is done. The second root cause of hair loss and thinning that I find in my female clients is thyroid hormone imbalance. The most common way to assess thyroid function is by measuring thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH. But unfortunately, this doesn't tell us the whole story. It's possible and even common to have thyroid imbalances even if your TSH falls within a normal lab range. Research shows that thyroid antibodies, a hallmark of a specific type of hypothyroid disease called Hashimoto's, can be found up to a decade before TSH signals hypothyroidism. But most doctors don't perform a full thyroid panel, which includes these antibodies as well as free T3 and T4. More on that in a minute. Symptoms of this subclinical early low thyroid function include hair loss and thinning, fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, always feeling cold, puffy face and eyes, loss of eyebrow hair, constipation, depression. The list actually does go on, but the point is that these symptoms are nonspecific, meaning that they could have any number of overlapping root causes. So, if the symptoms of early thyroid dysfunction are nonspecific, and early testing isn't the norm, that means that many women with hair loss or thinning are falling through the cracks and missing out on years of opportunity to resolve the issues at the root cause. I see it often when working with one-on-one clients, and I don't want this to happen to you. Here's what you can do instead. Get a full thyroid panel, including TSH, free T3, free T4, and thyroid antibodies. You can ask your primary care provider, or you can order your own at-home thyroid testing kit through my website, and I'll even help you interpret the results. Check out the link in the video description for more details and to place your order. Once you know if your thyroid is playing a role in your hair loss, you can take steps to rebalance it. Treating thyroid dysfunction could be as simple as taking thyroid medication to raise your hormone levels, or as complicated as treating leaky gut, rebalancing micronutrients, calming an overactive immune system. It can get pretty complex, but I do cover most of these strategies in much more detail in my Thyroid Deep Dive tutorial. You can find this 2-part workshop in my exclusive video library. To become a member, just tap the Join button on my YouTube homepage, and you'll get instant access to the Thyroid Deep Dive, as well as the Hair Loss Deep Dive tutorial, and many more members-only videos and resources. The third root cause of hair loss and thinning that I've seen in my functional medicine practice is malnutrition. And I don't mean a lack of calories. I'm talking about the often overlooked essential micronutrients needed for your body to function at its best. Because the standard American diet is so nutrient poor, Micronutrient insufficiency is actually alarmingly common in the United States, and yet hardly anyone tests micronutrient status. Here are just a few micronutrient gaps that can cause or contribute to hair loss and thinning in women. Essential fatty acids from foods like anchovies, herring, flax seeds, and olive oil can't be made from scratch by the body. So if you're not eating them or supplementing with them, you could be deficient. Selenium is a micronutrient found in seafood, organ meats, and Brazil nuts, and it also helps balance blood sugar as well as helping to prevent hair loss. When it comes to regrowing hair, you need optimal levels of collagen, zinc, and biotin, as well as iron, which we already talked about. Collagen comes from animal products, specifically cartilage, bones, skin, and joints. So if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you are more susceptible to this insufficiency. Bone broth is a great source of collagen, and there are many products on the market containing this skin, hair, and joint supporting micronutrient. But not all collagen is created equal. Some sources can be very irritating to the gut or cause constipation, so quality does count. Top sources of zinc include oysters, lamb, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, and cocoa powder. Biotin is a B vitamin and one of the micronutrients most commonly associated with hair growth. High amounts can be found in egg yolks, soybeans, peanuts, and chicken liver. Now, I don't know about you, but herring, organ meats, and oysters don't regularly make it onto my plate, though I do love oysters. So if you're experiencing hair loss or thinning, and you suspect that your micronutrients are not at optimal levels, you may need to get them in supplement form. For the highest standard, best quality supplements for hair loss and thinning, check out my vetted products in my full script dispensary. It's free to sign up for an account, and you'll be able to take advantage of that discount I mentioned. You'll find the link to check it out in the video description. If you're struggling with the frustration of hair loss or thinning, I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not selfish or vain for wanting a solution, and functional medicine has options for you. Be sure to check out the members-only hair loss deep dive in my exclusive video library, as well as the free resources I've linked to in the video description. Thanks so much for watching this video and for hitting that like and subscribe button. Your support of me and my channel means a lot, and it also helps others find the functional medicine support and options that they need. I've got another video all about ferritin lined up for you next, so I'll see you over there.